Practice presented by our friends at American Express. Give you a little bit of a sense of what goes into the day-to-day operations. Adam Amin, my man Stacey King, we're your Bulls broadcast team. We're proud to be here and give you a little bit of a little more of an insight, Stace. There's so much more that goes into these games than just the games themselves. The practices leading up are incredibly important, especially in a condensed schedule.
And then pick it up as you're going. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Well, it gives the fans an opportunity to see what goes on behind the curtain, because a lot of times when you get in the game situation, Adam, that's the finished product of the week preparation of whatever team you may be playing. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that, the fans don't get to see.
Well, we'll get a chance to hear from the head coach right out of the gate. Billy Donovan gives us a little bit of a sense of what goes into these practices.
Today's a little bit of a unique day. Anytime we play a game and then we have to come back and practice, first thing you want to do is make sure guys physically are doing okay, after the previous night's game. And, generally what we try to do as a coaching staff in the morning is break down the tape, get together, collaborate, and come up with some things that we need to improve upon defensively and offensively, maybe some things that we've done well defensively and offensively, adjustments and changes. What we'll do is get some shots up for some of our high minute guys just to get them a little bit of a workout, and then maybe some of the other players that don't get a chance really to get much playing time, we try to keep them in conditioning by running up and down the court. It's a balance with COVID going on and certainly not knowing from game to game what our team can look like. You really want to make sure that the guys that are playing heavy minutes you can get some rest for and get some skill work in, and then the guys maybe that didn't play heavy minutes, they're getting good quality work and keeping their conditioning up in case they're called upon. So a little bit of a lighter day for us today. The balance between recovery and rest and also getting things done on the floor is the challenge each day. I just want to thank all the Bulls fans for their support. We look forward, hopefully sooner than later, to having you back in the United Center.
Well, we appreciate Billy Donovan giving us a little bit of a sense of what's to come today. Some really cool moments. This is Josh Longstaff. He's mic'd up today, 11-year coaching veteran, last couple of years in Milwaukee. He's working with potential all-star Zach LaVine and the veteran Garrett Temple.
So you have to come, yeah, exactly, totally agree, and you just can't do it to the point where it's like you're getting
up Olay.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be held hostage. No.
Right.
I get what you, I like the concept of, if it's on this side, then all I got to do is take a step forward.
That's right.
And I'm
yeah.
pushing this way.
Yeah. And you, like Coach said, and you've done a pretty good job too, is if you do go this way, then boom, you're right there.
I got to just shallow him out.
Yeah.
He can't really rip and
right.
go down.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Some guys don't get that way.
Yeah,
We
for
gotta just
100%.
ride 'em out.
That's why we got
right.
like to your point, and what we're saying, we got to get in the body. Because if we don't, and if we get clipped, then he gonna go down.
Yeah,
So
especially with our bigs up
goes,
now, it's hard.
When he goes middle, it's basically like telling us you can't get clipped.
Right.
If he goes middle, he got to be going middle, and you in between him and the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stacey, a lot of nuance when it comes to trying to get players in the right frame of mind to go through a scouting report and things like that. That seems like that was the case there.
Well, what he's trying to do is explain to them some of the nuances of the game, that the game within the game. And when you're talking about defense, how you can guard certain players in certain situations. Right there, they're talking about the screen and how to get your body into that person and not get screened. So that's some of the little things that, you do in a light practice. So a lot of times there's a lot more illustration, a lot more video work, a lot more walking through, and that was evident right there.
I do appreciate some of our assistant coaches getting mic'd up for this. We get a chance to listen to another one of our great assistants. That's John Bryant. He's working with Daniel Gafford right now.
Hey, nice job. Don't break that rim. You break it, you buy it. Here we go. Last one. Last one. Good, nice job. Here, shoot one free throw. Shoot one free throw. Got me out here creasing the J's up. Don't worry about that. They were only $90, don't worry about that. Here's the thing that I'm gonna provide for you. Work, I'm never gonna discourage you from work, right? But the thing is, understanding the quality of work. Yeah. It's not about the quantity of work. Hold on, see that? It's not, it's the quality, you understand? There you go. Honestly, you're getting much better at this, but like finding a window, like you have to find a window. And you gotta almost shrink that window. Does that make sense?
Stace, can you give us a little bit more of a sense of what John was trying to implore to Daniel there?
Well, first of all, Adam, it's so important to have great assistant coaches. Billy Donovan has assembled a very good coaching staff. And when you have coaches like Coach Bryant, Longstaff, you know, you have to build the trust up amongst your players. Where Coach Donovan sometimes is a head coach, sometimes you're the bad cop. You know, even Phil Jackson was that way for me when I played. You know, he would be the hard guy, the heavy guy, the guy that would get into you. Your assistant coaches are so important because they're the good cops. They're the guys that keep you up and keep you energized into the game and let you know, hey, look, the coach just wants the best for you.
Good. Here, let's go right into our tip drill a little bit just to get your balance. We're going to keep it light today, like I said. Left, so we're going to go straight up first. Straight up first.
Players trust these coaches. You know, Zach LaVine, who plays heavy minutes, is not going to be doing a lot of physical work. But as you see with these first and second year players, they can go out here and get a little bit more physical, a little bit more work in, as you see Coach Brian working with Daniel Gafford.
And some of the physicality that you were talking about translates directly into what you're seeing right now in the weight room. Obviously so important in terms of strength and conditioning. So we're actually going to get a chance to listen to the head strength and conditioning coach, Matt Johnson. He's mic'd up while he's been working with third-year man Chandler Hutchison.
Beautiful, man. Drive. Good, nice. Through the heel. Come on, let's go. Drive. Good, nice triple Hutch. Clean. Very nice.
Chandler's a player that has dealt with some injuries over the course of the first couple of years of his career. Very important for him to keep his body right. He's such an aggressive, athletic player.
Well, he's got to be out on the floor because he can do so many different things for the Bulls, especially on the defensive end. He gives you athleticism to fill the break, get out and finish at the rim. I thought he had a great preseason, and he may not be getting the minutes right now, but as you know, Adam, how important it is during a COVID season that your number may be called at any time. So that means you can't stop working. You got to come in and get with Coach Johnson here and work in the weight room to continue to build your body, to get stronger, to avoid injury. And so as you see Chandler putting the time in, it's going to pay off in the long run. It's just a matter of when he gets that opportunity. He will be ready.
Let's go back to Josh.
Yeah.
Physical ass team like that.
Yeah. And I thought, like, it was impressive for us and almost like, hey, we've got this baseline now that they picked it up in the second half, their physicality, and, like, we picked ours up. And I feel like that's a good indicator for us, like, hey, we've got that game that we've done that, we can do it. Yeah.
Stacey, you know how important Garrett Temple, Thaddeus Young, Otto Porter, these veterans have been for this young group.
Well, I'll tell you what, Garrett Temple probably is one of the most underrated signings in the NBA season this year. You know, everywhere Garrett Temple's been, you heard nothing but good stories and good things about him. He's a hard worker. He's a team player. He'll do whatever the team asks. But the cool thing, Adam, is those guys can still play at a high level. It's not like they're just sitting on the bench and just being guys that the younger players can lean on. These guys are out there showing these young players that, hey, I can still do this at a high level. This is what it takes to play at a high level, to play 10, 12, 13, 14 years in this league. Because the crazy thing about this, Adam, sometimes when you're 22, 23, 24, 25, you know, you kind of think like, oh, this is easy. You know, I'm going to be playing for a long time. That's not the case all the time. You've got to do little things to stay in this league. You know, take care of yourself, eat the right way, you know, make sure you're getting rest when you get on the road. You're not going out partying and having a good time. These are guys that are testament of that, and this is why they have longevity in the league.
Nice, 2-3. 3-4. Nice contest. 4-5. Game time. Game pass. Bang.
Really good stuff. We appreciate the access from the Bulls coaching staff, giving us a little bit of a sense of it. And now we'll get a chance to actually watch it in action a little bit. It's a light day. You won't see as many of the American Express. The scrimmage is starting up. And Stacey, I'm sure a lot of fans are going, well, where's Zach LaVine? Where's Garrett Temple? Where's Kobe White? You got to remember that, as you mentioned, it's a little bit of a lighter session, and the minutes management feels like it's so much more important, maybe even in a year like this, than it has been in previous years.
Well, you also got to remember the Bulls are having a hectic schedule. I mean, they had 17 games in 31 days that they're preparing for. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes, Adam, you can't have a full practice. When you see guys like Kobe White, Zach LaVine, even Thad Young playing, 30-plus minutes on a nightly basis every other night, you've got to be able to save them. And then also you have some players who are coming back from the COVID protocol who need work. And so whenever you can get a guy like Ryan Arcidiacono who came back from that, you got to get him playing time. You got to get Thomas Satoransky opportunity to get himself in shape. And that's why you have these guys out here working hard. It's more instructional because you see some of the coaches and some of the assistants out there playing as well. Oh,
there's Hutchison.
What is that? The assistant coach made the poster? Oh, baby, get up and get out the way. He got the assistant coach. The assistant coach probably said that was a bad executive decision right there. I should have let him go.
Look at Felicio in the open floor getting the steal and the finish.
He's out there taking cookies. The big fella showing you got some quick hands. It looks like there's 5 Felicios out there, baby, on defense. A lot of this stuff you're seeing is really – developmental, trying to put guys in the right position, getting guys used to playing in certain ways in the game. Because like I said, a lot of times you don't have these kind of practice sessions based on the fact that you don't have a lot of time and there's not a lot of bodies.
I think you're right, Stace. The other thing that we get a chance to kind of witness is the day-to-day and the minute-to-minute scheduling for a lot of these players. Denzel Valentine has provided very good minutes, and a lot of it has to do with how this coaching staff has approached his work in practice in situations like these.
Well, we talk about how important it is in situations like this, guys letting coaches know that I'm coming out here, I'm gonna really, bust my tail. All these things are important when you're trying to get playing time on an NBA roster. So, take a guy like Felicio. Let me tell you something, the 12th, 13th man in the NBA can play. There's a reason why guys are in the NBA. These are the best players in the world. And I think sometimes people take for granted a guy not playing or not having any minutes. You don't think he can play. But I tell you what, you take a Ryan Arcidiacono and take him to your local health club, Ryan will give you 50 points. Okay, you take a Felicio out there, and he looks like Olajuwon. These guys can actually play, and it's just an opportunity for them to continue to work on their craft because you never know, and especially in a COVID situation, when your number is going to be called and you're going to have to play extended minutes.
And just saw Denzel Valentine taking some shots. He had a floater go down earlier. We always, seem to see that in games. Some of the stuff that you're seeing right now, it may not register right away, but you're going to see a lot of the action that you're seeing right now in a game situation when Denzel comes in, when Cristiano Felicio has to set screens, when Valentine has to run the offense. A lot of those scenarios that you're watching now play out in smaller moments during a 48-minute game.
Well, and the funny thing about this too, Adam, is I go back to our championship years. There was days where Michael, who played 40-plus minutes, and Scotty played 40-plus minutes. They would sit out of practice. Phil would say, hey, Bill, Phil. There'd be times where we'd have 3-on-3 practices, with 6 guys. And that was just to maintain your conditioning, maintain your sharpness. And then, the next game you get out there, those guys who were playing 3-on-3 like myself, BJ, Cliff Levinson, Scott Williams, Will Perdue, Bobby Hansen, guys who are not playing the 35 minutes on a particular night. Who knows? Next night, Bill Cartwright's out for 2 weeks, and I'm starting, and I'm playing a 35-minute night from coming off the bench, playing in a 35-minute night role. But I'm in shape, ready to go because I'm doing things just like these guys are doing right now.
See Ryan Arcidiacono stepping back for a long-distance jumper. We appreciate the insight from Stacey King. We appreciate the access from Billy Donovan and his coaching staff. Of course, American Express is proud to back Bulls fans all season long with exclusive experiences and offers. You can visit bulls.com/Amex to learn how you can gain access to these benefits. You see some of the coaching staff and the player development staff working on the floor right now with some of the second unit guys that are running the floor in this practice session.
Yeah, it's again, you're resting your starters, and this is why you hire, young assistants, so you can get them out there. You don't want to see, even though Billy Donovan thinks he can still go probably drop 30 on somebody, he's not gonna get out there and run. He might pull a hamstring. So that's why you see these young assistants. That's why all these NBA teams hire these guys who are probably fresh out of college, maybe 2 or 3 years. So when you have situations like this, they can get out there and guard people. They can get out there and fill in practice needs when you have guys that are injured. We didn't have guys like that. We had Tex Winter, Johnny Bach, guys who are 70 years old. They only wanted to play half court. They couldn't play full court. So, these guys out here actually guarding. Some of these guys look like they can still play.
Luke Cornett on the drive. Listen, I can appreciate anybody over a certain age just being able to get on the floor, because I'm in my 30s. I can't get on the floor with these guys. I respect that.
I tell you right now, Adam, I tell you right now, the mind says, my mind says I want to get out there right now. I'm hyped looking at this video, but the body said, boy, if you don't sit down, you are not getting out there.
To Ryan Arcidiacono bringing the ball up, Cristiano Felicio running with him. Thomas Satoransky on the floor as well, as Arch gets a look at a three. Again, we kind of write off some of the 13th, 14th, 15th guys, but in a season like this, especially with the Bulls having dealt with injuries in the last couple of years, having dealt with some COVID issues and injuries already this season, these players become that much more important. Depth in the NBA continues to be a major commodity, and the Bulls are trying to develop that depth.
Bulls out there, 1, 2, 3.
Stacey, obviously there's been a lot to be excited about over the course of the year. Hopefully this session gave some people a little bit more insight as to what the day-to-day is like for a lot of these players. But based on what we saw today and what you've seen on the floor, feels like there's a lot of positivity going on with this organization right now.
Well, it's pretty cool what the American Express has done. It's like bring your fans to work day. And so they get an opportunity to see, what these guys do behind closed doors, what the preparation's like, what the mental and physical preparations is all about. You got a chance to look at coaches behind the scenes. So it's so important to see that this is a whole different team. This is, like I always say, this is not your grandmother's Bulls. This is a totally different Bulls team, different mindset. Different attitude in the building, and they're building and going in the right direction. Like I said, this is a team that could easily be 3 or 4 games over 500. They're learning how to win. Billy Donovan and his coaching staff has done a great job of preparing this team every night.